So Xavier, we've never met.
No.
First time this morning. We've had a quick phone call to introduce ourselves. And we've just had a nice little chat, and I want to talk about some of the things you mentioned to me. But tell me about Storify first.
So Storify is a typewriter for this new social media age. It's basically a way to make stories with social media. So you can use tweets, Facebook messages, YouTube videos, Flickr images, and so on to tell a story.
So how'd you get the idea?
So basically, I was a really early Twitter user, and I quickly realized that this was really cool in the way that it's really enabled people to communicate to the world publicly. And the problem is that 99% of the content there is crap on Twitter. It's about what do you eat or other things that are not really that much interesting. Yet there is 1% of content that really deserves to be published. When you have people in the streets in Egypt, for example, who trying to get the word out about the revolution going on, it's important that to be able to publish that content into a larger audience than Twitter itself. And so, yeah, I started basically that in Belgium, and then I moved to San Francisco 2 years ago. And so we first started as just a way to publish Twitter, and then with my co-founder now, Bert Ehrman, we pivoted and we decided to do that into stories, and it became Storify.
So now there's blogging,
Mm-hmm.
where you're kind of creating content,
Mm-hmm.
original content. And I've been playing with Storify, and I can grab content from what social networks?
From any social network, basically.
But I see on this side, there's a couple that are listed that are very
Mhm.
easy to do, and they would be?
Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Flickr. Those are basically the main social networks that people use when they're on the street and they want to share something with their friends. They see during the tornadoes recently in the US, for example, the first people on the scene were people with their mobile phone who were just sharing on those social networks what they were seeing.
So I'm just literally searching a social network
Mm-hmm.
and dragging a piece of content onto my page.
Absolutely. So you can just drag and drop tweets from people, images, and to tell the story. So you just select manually, you handpick the best content, and you publish that on your page, so you can embed the story that you create on your site.
Are you for the amateur content creator, or are you for the professional?
We are for everybody. We really believe that anybody want to tell stories. It's all about storytelling. We had really interesting use cases. For example, someone who used Storify to tell the story of his wedding, when all the people invited there were actually using social media to share pictures, and then at the end he used Storify to put that together and basically tell the story. And being able, the important thing about Storify is that what you publish now on social media is being forgotten. We live in those real-time streams, and you don't remember what was your timeline on Twitter or Facebook a month ago. And so if people were, at your wedding and they were sharing things on social media, you want to remember that.
Who are you trying to disrupt?
So I'm trying to disrupt the AP. I mean, that was my very first, when I was looking for a co-founder in the US, so I met Bert Ehrman, and he asked me, like, hey, what's your vision? What do you want to do? And I said, I want to disrupt the AP. And then he answered, like, oh, that's interesting, because I used to work for 12 years for the AP. And I say, oops, sorry. That's a nice way to introduce myself, I guess. Yeah, I mean, the reason for that is being that the information network of this world used to rely on only a couple of thousand of reporters sent across the world and send information through the AP or other news organization like that. But now we have this amazing opportunity to connect with 500 million reporters, people with mobile phone on social networks, whatever is happening, whether it's in Japan, Syria, here in the US, wherever, whatever is happening, we have now 500 million reporters.
What's the business model?
The business model. Thanks for asking. So right now our focus is not on the business model. We just raised $2 million with Khosla, and they're really supportive, and they really want us to shoot for the big vision of creating this really disruption in the information network. We really, in terms of business model, I mean, yeah, there is lot of possibilities. What we really want to do is create an ecosystem around storytelling, because storytelling is really, there is a disruption now. People now use things like WordPress, blogging, where it's all about you writing your own content. But now, with social media, all the content that you need to tell a story is already in the cloud. The future of content creation is not going to be only about you writing your own stories alone. It's going to be about collaborating, engaging with your audience.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get a message across, it's so much more powerful if you can incorporate some quotes from people who think the same way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's not anymore just you trying to convince me of something. It's
Mm-hmm.
actually, hey, look, this is what I think, but other people think the same way.
So you were telling me before you've been at this for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Is anything that's happened that you didn't expect, or your view changed in some way?
Oh, yes, many. I guess life for an entrepreneur is always, every day is almost unexpected. So no, it has been quite a ride. I think the thing that impressed me the most is coming from Europe has been the ecosystem in Silicon Valley and this attitude of forward payback. The fact that people there who've been successful recognize that it's not only thanks to them, it's also thanks to the ecosystem, thanks to someone else who actually helped them, give them a hand. And they couldn't, at that time, they cannot thank them. Because you know, when someone, a CEO of a successful company, is already a lot of money and you are nobody, you cannot really thank that person. But then the concept is to pay forward. It's say, like, well, you don't need to thank me, but one day you're also going to be in a position where you will be able to help someone else. And I think this is fantastic. This is really the best way to really kind of lift everybody up, and the best school.
Well, that's fantastic. There are a lot of people who won't describe the venture capital industrial complex with the same positive nature that you do, but I'm glad you have that experience. So I want to thank you for coming in, and I'm a big fan, and I'm going to be a big user. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.